Captain Dong Min walked through the empty halls of the Galaxy Council building. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. The alien workers had all gone home hours ago, but Dong Min stayed behind. He had work to do. The human embassy on Nexus Prime was supposed to be a great honor. Earth's best people came here to work with other species from across the galaxy. They shared knowledge, made trade deals, and kept peace between worlds. At least that's what everyone believed. Dong Min stopped at a door marked with strange alien writing. This was Veltar's office. Veltar was the council archivist, one of the most important aliens in the building. He kept all the records and files. But 3 days ago, Veltar had disappeared. No one knew where he went. His office was locked and empty. Dong Min looked around the hallway. No one was watching. He pulled out a small device from his pocket. It was human technology, something the other species didn't know about. The device made a soft beeping sound as it worked on the door lock. After a few seconds, the door opened. The office was dark. Dong Min turned on his flashlight and stepped inside. The room was full of computers and file cabinets. Papers were scattered everywhere. It looked like someone had left in a hurry. Dong Min began searching through the files. Most of them were written in alien languages he couldn't read. But then he found something interesting. A computer terminal was still on. The screen showed files that were marked Human Relations Classified. His heart started beating faster. Why would there be classified files about humans? Earth had always been honest with the Council. They shared everything they knew about their technology and science. What could the Council want to hide? Dong Min sat down at the computer. He knew alien technology well enough to navigate the system. He opened the first file. What he saw made his blood run cold. The file was titled Project Limitation, Human Development Control. Inside were detailed plans about how to slow down human progress. The Council had been giving Earth fake information for 50 years. Every piece of technology they shared was broken or incomplete. Dong Min opened more files. Each one was worse than the last. The faster-than-light engines that Earth used? They were only half as good as the real ones. The energy weapons that human ships carried? They were designed to break down after a few uses. The terraforming equipment that helped humans build colonies? It would only work on the worst planets, but that wasn't all. The file showed that other species had much better technology. While humans struggled with second-rate equipment, the aliens were using advanced tools that they kept secret. They had engines that could cross the galaxy in days. They had weapons that could destroy entire fleets. They had machines that could turn any planet into a paradise. Dong Min felt sick. Earth had trusted these aliens. Humans had called them friends and allies. But all along, the Council had been lying. They were keeping humanity weak on purpose, he kept reading. The files explained why the Council did this. They were afraid of humans. Not because humans were strong, but because they were different. Humans solved problems in ways that other species couldn't understand. They were creative and stubborn. They never gave up. The Council had seen this and worried. What if humans became too powerful? What if they found out they were being held back? So the aliens decided to control human development. They would give humans just enough to keep them happy, but never enough to be a threat. One file made Dong Min especially angry. It was a report about human innovations. Even with broken technology, humans had found ways to make things work. They had improved the fake designs and created new solutions. The Council was stealing these improvements and using them for themselves. Dr. Subin's name appeared in many files. She was Earth's top scientist, working at the embassy to share knowledge with alien researchers. But the files showed that the aliens were taking her ideas and giving her nothing real in return. They praised her work in public while laughing at her in private. Admiral Wu Jin was mentioned too. The files described how the Council had convinced him to use outdated battle tactics. They told him these were the best methods for space combat. But really they were teaching him to lose. If humans ever fought against Council forces, they would be crushed. Dong Min found records of secret meetings between Council members. They talked about humans like they were children who needed to be controlled. They joked about how trusting humans were. They celebrated each time they successfully fooled Earth scientists and leaders. The worst part was reading about Haye Jin. She worked in the embassy's communication department. The files showed that the Council had been reading every message she sent back to Earth. They knew about human military plans, scientific projects, and even personal letters from families. Nothing was private. Dongmin copied everything onto a secure data device. This information had to get back to Earth. People needed to know the truth, but he had to be careful. If the council found out what he had discovered, they might do something terrible to stop the information from spreading. He heard footsteps in the hallway outside. Someone was coming. Dongmin quickly shut down the computer and put away his device. He hid behind a large filing cabinet and turned off his flashlight. The door opened. 2 alien guards walked in. They had long arms and 4 eyes each. They looked around the room with their scanning devices. "Nothing here," one guard said in the common galactic language. "Veltar must have taken everything important when he ran away." "Good," the other guard replied. The council was worried that he left evidence behind. "If the humans ever found out about Project Limitation—" "They won't," the first guard said. "Humans are too trusting. They believe everything we tell them." The guards left and closed the door. Dongmin waited several minutes before moving. His hands were shaking. What he had heard confirmed everything in the files. The council really was deceiving humanity. Dongmin carefully left the office and made his way back to the human embassy section. He went straight to his private quarters and locked the door. Then he set up his secure communication equipment. The quantum transmitter was one of the few pieces of real human technology on the station. The council didn't know about it because humans had built it in secret. Dongmin activated the device and sent an encrypted message to Earth. The message was simple. Everything we trusted was a lie. Sending proof. Prepare for the truth. As the message traveled through space toward Earth, Dongmin sat in his chair and thought about what would happen next. 50 years of friendship had been fake. 50 years of progress had been stolen. 50 years of trust had been broken. But now Earth would know. And when humans learned the truth, there would be consequences. The council had made a terrible mistake. They thought they could control humanity forever. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Subin stared at the data files on her computer screen. 3 days had passed since Captain Dongmin's message reached Earth. The files he sent were spread across her desk and filling every screen in her laboratory. Each document told the same horrible story. The Galaxy Council had been lying to humanity for 50 years. Subin was Earth's top scientist. She had spent most of her career working with alien technology. She had always wondered why some things seemed wrong or incomplete. Now she knew why. The aliens had given humans broken designs on purpose. Dr. Subin called Minho from across the laboratory. He was a young engineer who worked on Mars colony projects. "I think I found something important." Minho walked over carrying a thick folder of papers. His face looked excited and worried at the same time. "I've been comparing our fusion reactors with the designs the council gave us. The alien plans have deliberate flaws in them." Subin took the folder and opened it. Inside were technical drawings and energy output charts. "Show me what you found." Minho pointed to a section of the reactor design. "Look here. The council told us this cooling system was the most efficient design possible. But when I removed these components," he pointed to several parts, "the reactor actually worked better." "Much better. How much better?" Subin asked. 40% more power output, and it's more stable too. The reactor runs smoother and lasts longer." Minho looked angry. "They deliberately made our power systems weaker. But we fixed their sabotage without even knowing it." Subin felt a chill run down her spine. "You mean our reactors are already better than what the council wanted us to have?" "Yes, and not just better than what they gave us. I think our modified reactors might be better than their own designs." Across the laboratory, So Young was working at another computer station. She was the head of Earth's artificial intelligence research. For years, the council had warned humans about the dangers of advanced AI. They said humans must never create thinking machines that were too smart. They gave strict rules about how AI could be built. So Young had always followed these rules carefully. She didn't want to create something dangerous, but now, looking at the council's real files, she was starting to understand something shocking. "Dr. Subin," So Young called out, "You need to see this." The council's warnings about AI weren't to protect us. They were to protect themselves. Subin and Minho walked over to So Young's workstation. The screen showed historical records from other alien civilizations. "Look at this," So Young said, pointing to the data. 3 different alien species tried to create advanced AI. All 3 civilizations were destroyed when their AI systems became too powerful and turned against their creators. That's exactly what the council told us, Subin said. They said AI was dangerous. But look at this part, So Young continued. All three species use the same basic AI design. They all made the same mistakes. The council knew these designs were dangerous, but they didn't know how to make safe AI. So Young opened another file. When humans started working on AI, we naturally avoided those dangerous designs. We created something completely different. Our AI development followed safety principles that the other species never thought of. What does that mean? Minho asked. It means human AI research was going in the right direction. We were solving the problems that destroyed other civilizations. But the council stopped us because they were afraid we'd create something better than anything they had. Dr. Subin sat down in a chair. Her mind was spinning with new realizations. They weren't protecting us from danger. They were protecting themselves from competition. A communication alert sounded from across the room. Jinwoo, Earth's military technology strategist, was calling from the War College. Subin accepted the call and Jinwoo's face appeared on the main screen. Dr. Subin, I've been analyzing the military files that Captain Dongmin sent. What I've found changes everything we know about space combat. What did you discover? Subin asked. Jinwoo held up a datapad. The council taught us battle tactics that were supposed to be the most advanced in the galaxy. They said these methods had been perfected over thousands of years of warfare. That's what they told us. Subin agreed. But it's all wrong. The tactics they taught us are rigid and predictable. They only work if both sides follow the same rules. Real space combat is much more chaotic and unpredictable. Jinwoo's expression grew serious. I've been studying human military history. Our ancient generals like Sun Tzu understood principles that the council never learned. Flexibility, deception, and adaptation. These are human strengths that the aliens can't match. Are you saying our military thinking is superior? Minho asked. I'm saying human warfare is fundamentally different. We don't just follow rules. We break them when we need to. We improvise and adapt. The council tried to make us fight like them, but human nature kept breaking through. Subin thought about what she was hearing. In every area of technology and knowledge, the same pattern was emerging. The council had tried to limit human development, but humans had found ways around the limitations, often without even realizing it. There's more, Jinwoo continued. I've been talking to ship captains and military engineers. Many of them have been modifying council designs for years. They said the alien technology didn't feel right, so they changed it. Changed it how? So Young asked. Small improvements. Better armor placement. More efficient weapon cooling systems. Faster response times for ship controls. Each change seemed minor, but together they add up to something significant. Subin stood up and walked to the center of the laboratory. Everyone listen to me. I think we're discovering something incredible. The council didn't just try to hold us back. They accidentally forced us to become better. The room was quiet as everyone focused on her words. Think about it, Subin continued. They gave us broken technology, so we learned to fix things ourselves. They gave us incomplete information, so we learned to fill in the gaps with our own innovations. They tried to make us weak, but they made us stronger. Minho nodded slowly. Our reactors work better because we had to improve the bad designs they gave us. Our AI research is safer because we had to find our own path. So Young added, our military tactics are more flexible because human nature wouldn't accept rigid alien rules. Jinwoo said from the screen. Subin felt a mixture of anger and excitement. The council thought they were controlling us, but they were actually teaching us to be independent. Every limitation they put on us made us find better solutions. She walked over to her computer and opened a new analysis program. I want everyone to work together on this. Let's compare every piece of council technology with what humans have actually built. I think we're going to find that human civilization is much more advanced than anyone realized. Over the next several hours, the team worked through file after file. The results were shocking. In almost every area, human modifications and innovations had created technology that was equal to or better than true alien systems. Human ships were more reliable because engineers had learned to work around faulty designs. Human colonies were more successful because terraforming teams had developed better techniques to compensate for inferior equipment. Human communication systems were more secure because technicians had created their own encryption methods. The council had spent 50 years trying to keep humanity in second place. Instead, they had accidentally trained humans to surpass them. As the analysis continued, Subin began to understand the full scope of what had happened. Humanity hadn't just survived the Council's deception. They had thrived despite it. Every obstacle had become a learning opportunity. Every limitation had become a challenge to overcome. But the most important discovery was still to come. As Subin compiled the final report, she realized that humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their technology. It was their ability to adapt and innovate when faced with problems. The Council species had become dependent on established methods and ancient knowledge. They followed rules and traditions without questioning them. But humans questioned everything. They experimented, failed, learned, and tried again. The aliens had tried to turn humanity's curiosity and independence into weaknesses. Instead, these traits had become humanity's greatest strengths. Subin finished her report and prepared to send it to Earth's government leaders. The message was clear. Humanity was ready to stand on its own. They didn't need the Council's help anymore. In fact, they never really had. Admiral Wu Jin stood in the center of Earth's Global Defense Command. Around him, dozens of officers worked at control stations. Large screens showed maps of human space with every ship, colony, and outpost marked in blue dots. Today, those blue dots would change everything. President Kyung-soo walked into the command center. His face was serious and determined. Behind him came the other leaders of Earth's government. They had all read Dr. Subin's report. They knew the truth about the Galaxy Council's 50-year deception. "Admiral," President Kyung-soo said, "are all our forces ready?" Wu Jin nodded. "Every human ship, station, and colony is standing by. They're waiting for your command, sir." For the past week, secret messages had been sent to every human outpost in the galaxy. Ship captains, colony governors, and military commanders all received the same instruction: prepare for immediate withdrawal from Council space. No one knew exactly what was coming, but they trusted Earth's leadership. President Kyung-soo looked at the main display screen. It showed the locations of all human representatives in Council territory. Diplomats, scientists, traders, and military advisors were scattered across dozens of alien worlds. All of them were about to come home. "The Council has lied to us for 50 years, President Kyung-soo said to the assembled officers. "They have stolen our innovations, sabotaged our technology, and treated us like children who couldn't be trusted with the truth." The president walked to the center of the room. "But we are not children. We are human beings. We are explorers, inventors, and survivors. We have built a civilization that spans the stars, despite every obstacle they put in our way." Wu Jin activated the main communication system. Every human ship and station in the galaxy would hear what came next. "Today we show the galaxy who we really are," President Kyung-soo continued. "We will not argue with the Council. We will not negotiate with them. We will not beg them to treat us fairly." The president paused and looked directly at Admiral Wu Jin. "We will simply leave, and when we do, the galaxy will see what humanity can accomplish when we are free." Admiral Wu Jin stepped forward to the main communication console. His hand hovered over the transmission button. This single command would change human history forever. "Are you ready, Admiral?" President Kyung-soo asked. "Ready, sir," Wu Jin replied. "Then give the command." Wu Jin pressed the button. His voice carried across the galaxy to every human ship, station, and colony. The words were simple, but their meaning was enormous. "All human forces, this is Admiral Wu Jin. Execute Protocol Omega. Independence Declaration. I repeat, execute Protocol Omega. Bring our people home." Across the galaxy, the response was immediate. On the bridge of the stealth ship Soul's Pride, Captain Tae-hyun received the message. He had been hiding near a Council military base for weeks, gathering intelligence. Now he had new orders. "Helm, set course for the nearest jump point," Tae-hyun commanded. "We're going home." His crew worked quickly to prepare for departure. The Soul's Pride was equipped with experimental technology that the Council didn't know about. Real human technology, not the fake designs the aliens had provided. The ship could move faster and hide better than any Council vessel. "Captain," the communications officer said, "I'm picking up similar messages from other human ships. Everyone is pulling out." Tae-hyun smiled. "Good. Let's see how the Council likes it when they can't spy on us anymore." On a distant colony world, Yunju was leading a meeting of colonial administrators. She was the head of the colonial independence movement, and she had been preparing for this day for months. "Everyone knows what to do," Yunju told the group. "Pack only what we need. Leave the rest." We're not refugees running away. We're explorers heading to new frontiers. The colony world they were leaving had been designated as barely habitable by council standards. But human engineers had turned it into a thriving community. They had improved the soil, cleaned the water, and built comfortable cities. The council had been studying their methods in secret, planning to use human innovations on better worlds for their own people. "What about our research data?" asked one of the scientists. "Take everything," Yunju replied. "Every file, every experiment, every discovery. That knowledge belongs to humanity, not the council." Within hours, human transport ships arrived to evacuate the colony. The operation was smooth and efficient. Humans had always been good at organizing under pressure. At Galaxy Council headquarters, Junseo was overseeing the most delicate part of the withdrawal. As head of human intelligence, he was responsible for getting all the embassy staff out safely. But first, he had one more job to do. Junseo walked through the council building one last time. In his hand was a small device that would erase every human computer system in the building. The council would lose access to years of human research and communication records. "Sir," his assistant whispered, "the last shuttle is ready to depart." "One moment," Junseo replied. He activated the device. Throughout the building, human computer systems shut down and wiped their memory banks. 50 years of stolen human knowledge vanished in seconds. "Now we can go," Junseo said. As the human shuttle lifted off from Nexus Prime, Junseo looked back at the council building. Alien officials were running around in confusion. They couldn't understand what was happening. Humans had been part of council civilization for so long that the aliens had forgotten how to function without them. Back on Earth, Admiral Wu Jin watched the tactical display as human forces moved across the galaxy. Blue dots were converging on pre-planned rally points. Ships that had been scattered across council space were forming into organized fleets. "Status report," Wu Jin commanded. "Evacuation is proceeding on schedule," reported Colonel Heiwan. "All embassy personnel have departed council space. Colony evacuations are 70% complete. Fleet reorganization is ahead of schedule." President Kyung-soo studied the display. "How are the aliens reacting?" "Confusion mostly," Colonel Heiwan replied. "They're sending communication requests, but we're not responding. They don't seem to understand that this is permanent." The truth was that the council had never imagined humans would simply leave. In their experience, species either fought each other or submitted to stronger powers. The idea of an entire civilization just walking away was completely foreign to them. "Sir," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority message from Captain Dongmin on Nexus Prime." "Put him through," Wu Jin ordered. Dongmin's face appeared on the main screen. He was aboard the last human transport leaving council headquarters. "Admiral, the council is in complete chaos," Dongmin reported. "They're trying to stop human ships from leaving, but they can't catch us. Our real technology is much faster than what they thought we had." "Any signs of military response?" Wu Jin asked. "None. They're too confused to organize an attack. I don't think they understand what's happening." President Kyung-soo stepped forward. "Captain Dongmin, on behalf of Earth, thank you. Your discovery of the truth made all of this possible." "Just doing my duty, sir," Dongmin replied. "But there's something else. I overheard council members talking. They're more afraid than angry. I think they realize they made a terrible mistake." After the communication ended, Admiral Wu Jin looked at the tactical display again. In just 12 hours, humanity had completely withdrawn from council space. 50 years of integration had been undone in half a day. "What now, sir?" Colonel Heiwan asked. President Kyung-soo walked to the main viewing screen. Outside, Earth looked peaceful and beautiful. But beyond Earth, the galaxy was changing. "Now we show them what humanity can really do," the president said. "We've been held back for 50 years, no more. From this day forward, we build our own future." Admiral Wu Jin activated the fleet communication system one more time. His message went out to every human ship now traveling toward the edges of known space. "All human forces, this is Admiral Wu Jin. Phase 1 is complete. We have successfully withdrawn from council space. Phase 2 begins now. Proceed to designated coordinates beyond the galactic rim. Time to show the galaxy what humans can accomplish when we're free." As the last human ships disappeared into hyperspace, the Galaxy Council was left with empty embassies, abandoned colonies, and a growing understanding that they had just lost the most innovative and adaptable species in the galaxy. The single command had been given. Humanity was now truly independent. and the galaxy would never be the same. High Counselor Velkaran stood in the emergency session chamber on Nexus Prime. Around him, representatives from dozens of alien species talked loudly and angrily. The great hall that had once been a symbol of galactic unity now felt like chaos. 3 weeks had passed since humanity's sudden departure. 3 weeks since every human had vanished from Council space without explanation. 3 weeks of growing problems that no one seemed able to solve. Order, order, Velkaran called out, striking his ceremonial staff against the floor. The Council will come to order. The voices slowly quieted, but the tension remained. Velkaran looked around the chamber at faces filled with worry, anger, and fear. We are here to discuss the human situation, Velkaran announced. As you all know, the humans have completely withdrawn from Council space. All attempts to contact them have failed. We need to understand what happened and what we should do about it. Zarthek of the hegemony stood up first. His blue skin was darker than usual, a sign of stress among his people. This is a disaster of our own making. The humans discovered our deception program. They know we have been limiting their development for 50 years. Murmurs of concern spread through the chamber. Many council members had supported the human limitation program, but they had never expected the humans to find out about it. How could they have discovered our classified files? Demanded Representative Kixolin from the Trade Federation. Our security systems are the best in the galaxy. That's what we thought, replied Councillor Morgeth. But human technology has always been unpredictable. They may have developed capabilities we didn't know about. Grand Admiral Thexani of the Council Defense Force stepped forward. We tried to intercept their departing ships, but every human vessel outran our fastest pursuit craft. Their ships are moving at speeds that should be impossible with the technology we gave them. That's because they weren't using the technology we gave them, Velkaran said grimly. Intelligence reports suggest the humans have been secretly developing their own improvements. We may have severely underestimated their true capabilities. In the back of the chamber, Economics Minister Valneth raised a concern that many had been thinking about. The economic impact is already becoming severe. Human colonies were providing 30% of our rare mineral exports. Human traders handled logistics for major shipping routes across 17 sectors. It's worse than that, added Trade Representative Colmiran. Humans had unique solutions for problems we couldn't solve ourselves. Without their innovations, several of our infrastructure projects have completely stopped. Velkaran had seen the reports. Human engineers had developed new mining techniques that could extract resources from planets that other species considered worthless. Human traders had created efficient shipping routes that reduced travel time between distant systems. Human scientists had solved technical problems that had puzzled alien researchers for decades. Now all of that knowledge was gone. There's something else, said military strategist Gentar. Our war games and combat simulations are failing. For years, we used human tactical advisors to help plan our military exercises. Without them, our strategies have become predictable and ineffective. This was news to many council members. They hadn't realized how much the military had relied on human input. Explain, Velkaran ordered. Humans think about warfare differently than we do, Gentar continued. They use flexible tactics and improvised strategies. Our military planners have become dependent on human creativity to make our forces effective. The admission was embarrassing. The Council had spent decades trying to control human military development, but they had secretly been using human innovations to improve their own forces. This is getting worse every day, announced Science Director Velnix. 3 of our major research projects have shut down completely. We don't know how to continue without human participation. What kind of research? Asked Velkaran. Terraforming techniques, energy efficiency improvements, and computer system optimization. In each case, humans were providing insights that our own scientists couldn't match. The chamber fell silent as the full scope of the problem became clear. Humanity hadn't just been junior partners in Council civilization. They had been essential contributors whose knowledge and innovation had become deeply integrated into alien society. Representative Zeffel from the Communications Guild stood up with obvious distress. Our interspecies communication networks are failing. Human linguists and translators handled the most complex diplomatic exchanges. Without them, several species are having trouble understanding each other. Some of our member species are considering leaving the Council, added diplomatic liaison Morquez. They say if the Council can deceive humans for 50 years, how can they trust us to be honest with them? This was Velcaron's greatest fear. The human departure wasn't just an economic or military problem. It was threatening the stability of the entire Council structure. What about the colonies the humans abandoned? Asked Colonial Administrator Carneth. They left behind fully developed worlds with advanced infrastructure. We've tried to occupy them, Carneth replied, but we can't maintain the systems the humans built. Their technology is too different from ours. The colonies are slowly breaking down. Agricultural Minister Zentak had an even more immediate concern. The food production systems on several worlds were designed by human engineers. Without maintenance, crop yields are dropping rapidly. We may face food shortages within months. As each representative spoke, the picture became clearer. Humanity's influence had spread throughout Council civilization in ways that most aliens hadn't realized. Human innovation had solved problems, improved efficiency, and maintained systems across dozens of worlds. There's something else we need to discuss, said Intelligence Director Vexmore. Our spy networks in several regions have collapsed. Human operatives were handling intelligence gathering in areas where other species couldn't operate effectively. Why couldn't our own people do that work? Velcaron asked. Humans blend in better, Vexmore explained. Other species see them as harmless and non-threatening. They could gather information that our agents couldn't access. The irony was bitter. The Council had considered humans inferior and primitive, but they had been using human abilities to maintain their own power and influence. As the session continued, more problems emerged. Space traffic control systems that relied on human coordination were becoming chaotic. Scientific databases that humans had helped organize were becoming difficult to access. Even entertainment networks were suffering because human cultural content had become popular across many species. How long can we continue without them? Velcaron asked his advisors. Not long, replied Chief Administrator Tholvex. Critical systems are failing daily. Our economy is contracting. Member species are losing confidence in Council leadership. The worst part was that no one knew where the humans had gone. Their ships had disappeared beyond the edges of known space. Long-range sensors detected nothing. It was as if an entire civilization had simply vanished. Have we tried sending diplomatic missions to find them? Asked Counselor Marthek. We've sent 3 expeditions, Velcaron replied. None have returned any useful information. The humans seem to have left no trail for us to follow. Maybe that's intentional, suggested Representative Colves. Maybe they don't want to be found. The chamber fell quiet again. Many council members were beginning to understand that humanity's departure might be permanent. The species they had tried to control and limit had simply chosen to leave rather than fight. What are our options? Asked Military Commander Gexnol. Velcaron looked around the chamber. We could try to force them to return. Send military expeditions to search for them and demand they resume their obligations to the Council. With what? Asked Grand Admiral Thexani. Our fleets can't match their speed. Our weapon systems are less advanced than we thought. If the humans have been secretly developing superior technology for decades, we might not be able to defeat them even if we found them. Then what do you suggest? Velcorin asked. Perhaps, said Elder Statesman Vornix, speaking for the first time during the session, we should consider that we made a mistake. Perhaps we should think about what we can offer them to convince them to return. The suggestion was shocking. The Council had never apologized to any species before. They had never admitted making mistakes in their governance. The humans are gone, Vornix continued. Our civilization is suffering without them. Pride is a luxury we may no longer be able to afford. As the emergency session ended, Velcaron remained in the empty chamber. The truth was becoming undeniable. The Council had tried to keep humanity weak and dependent. Instead, they had made themselves dependent on human innovation and creativity. Now the humans were gone, and Council civilization was beginning to collapse. The deception that was supposed to protect alien superiority had instead revealed how much they needed the species they had tried to control. The galaxy was changing, and the Council was no longer in control of that change. Fleet Admiral Su Jin stood on the observation deck of the massive space station orbiting New Terra. Through the transparent aluminum windows, she could see dozens of human ships moving between construction platforms. New colonies were being built faster than anyone had thought possible. 6 months had passed since humanity left Council space. 6 months of incredible progress and discovery. The humans hadn't just survived on their own. They had thrived in ways that amazed even themselves. "Admiral," called Science Director Hei Wan as she approached with a data tablet. "The latest exploration reports are in. Captain Changmin has made contact with another new species." Sujin took the tablet and reviewed the information. Changmin was the captain of the exploration ship Busan Explorer. His mission was to make contact with civilizations beyond Council space. So far, he had been very successful. "This makes 7 new species in the past 4 months," Sujin noted. "How many are interested in joining our alliance?" "All of them," Hei Wan replied with a smile. "It seems the Galaxy Council's influence doesn't extend as far as they claimed. There are dozens of civilizations out here that the Council either ignored or actively avoided." Sujin wasn't surprised. The Council preferred to work with species that were predictable and easy to control. Independent civilizations made them nervous. The communication system activated, and Captain Changmin's face appeared on the main screen. He was calling from his ship, which was currently orbiting a planet in the Kepler 442 system. "Admiral Sujin, I have some interesting news," Changmin reported. "The species here calls themselves the Nari. They've been watching Council space for centuries, but they've never made contact." "Why not?" Sujin asked. "They say the Council only talks to species that submit to their authority. The Nari value independence too much to accept Council control, but they're very interested in working with humanity." This was becoming a common pattern. Many species had been aware of the Galaxy Council, but had chosen to avoid contact rather than risk being dominated. "What can you tell us about their technology?" Science Director Hei Wan asked. "They've developed some fascinating innovations," Changmin replied. "Their ships use a completely different type of faster-than-light drive. It's more efficient than anything we've seen. They're willing to share the technology in exchange for our terraforming techniques." Sujin was pleased but not surprised. Humanity's terraforming technology had become famous throughout this region of space. The techniques that humans had developed to work around Council sabotage were actually superior to anything the aliens had. "Approved," Sujin said. "Begin formal negotiations for a technology exchange." After the communication ended, Hei Wan showed Sujin another report. "You should see what Yejin's engineering teams have accomplished on the Kepler 186 project." Yejin was the head of the new Terra Engineering Corps. She was leading humanity's most ambitious terraforming project, converting an entire planet from a frozen wasteland into a garden world. "How much progress have they made?" Sujin asked. "They've transformed 60% of the planet's surface in just 5 months. At this rate, Kepler 186 will be fully habitable within a year." Sujin shook her head in amazement. "The Council told us that terraforming took decades. How are we doing it so much faster?" "We're using the real techniques that our people developed," Hei Wan explained. "Plus improvements from our new allies. The Vorthan species shared atmospheric processing methods that work perfectly with our soil modification systems. The Vorthans had been the first species to join humanity's growing alliance. They were master atmospheric engineers who had been ignored by the Council because their technology was considered too experimental. But when combined with human innovation, their methods produced incredible results." Diplomatic Coordinator Sung Ho appeared on another communication screen. He was calling from the Alliance headquarters on New Geneva Station. "Admiral, I have an update on our diplomatic situation," Sung Ho reported. "We now have formal alliances with 12 different species. 6 more are requesting to join our coalition." "What are they offering?" Sujin asked. "Advanced manufacturing techniques, new energy sources, improved medical technology, and enhanced communication systems," Sung Ho replied. "Each species brings something unique to our alliance." The truth was that the Galaxy Council had been wasting the potential of countless civilizations. By forcing everyone to use standardized technology and methods, they had prevented innovation and cooperation. Humanity's approach was completely different. "There's something else," Sung Ho continued. "Several species have told us that the Council has been deceiving them too. Not as extensively as they deceived humanity, but they've been holding back information and limiting development across the galaxy." This confirmed what many humans had suspected. Humanity wasn't the only victim of Council manipulation. They were just the most recent and perhaps the most thoroughly deceived. Suddenly, the station's alert system activated. Emergency communications were coming in from the outer sensor networks. "Admiral, called Communications Officer Park Min-jun. "We're detecting a large fleet approaching from Council space. Multiple species, heavily armed. They're requesting communication." Soo-jin's expression became serious. "Put them through." The main screen changed to show High Counselor Velkaran standing on the bridge of a Council command ship. Behind him, Soo-jin could see representatives from several alien species. "Admiral Soo-jin," Velkaran said formally. "I am High Counselor Velkaran of the Galaxy Council. We come to negotiate the return of humanity to Council space." "We have no interest in returning," Soo-jin replied calmly. "Humanity has chosen independence." "You don't understand," Velkaran continued. "Council civilization is suffering without human participation. We are prepared to offer significant concessions in exchange for your return." Soo-jin almost laughed. "Concessions? You lied to us for 50 years. You sabotaged our technology and stole our innovations. Why would we trust you now?" "We admit mistakes were made," Velkaran said reluctantly. "But surely we can reach an agreement that benefits everyone." "I don't think you understand your situation," Soo-jin replied. "We don't need you anymore. We have new allies, better technology, and unlimited opportunities for growth. What could you possibly offer us?" On the screen, Velkaran looked uncomfortable. It was clear that the Council had expected humanity to be struggling on their own. They hadn't imagined that humans would build a thriving civilization in just 6 months. "We could share our true technology with you," Velkaran offered. "The real designs, not the limited versions we provided before." "Thank you, but we're not interested," Soo-jin said. "Our technology is already more advanced than yours. Our allies have shown us innovations that make Council science look primitive." This was apparently news to the Council representatives. Several of them began talking urgently among themselves. "Perhaps," Velkaran said desperately, "we could discuss a partnership. Equal status within the Council structure." "The Council structure is the problem," Soo-jin replied. "You believe in control and domination. We believe in cooperation and innovation. Our philosophies are incompatible." Fleet Admiral Soo-jin looked at her tactical display. The Council fleet was impressive, but it wasn't threatening. Human sensors could detect weaknesses in their formation and outdated technology in their ships. "I have a different offer for you," Soo-jin said. "Any species in your fleet that wants to join our alliance is welcome. We offer true partnership, shared technology, and mutual respect." The reaction on the Council bridge was immediate chaos. Several alien representatives began arguing loudly. Some seemed interested in Soo-jin's offer. "You can't do this," Velkaran protested. "These species have obligations to the Council." "Do they?" Soo-jin asked. "Or do they have the right to choose their own future?" Communications were coming in from several ships in the Council fleet. 3 species were requesting to defect immediately. They wanted to join the human alliance rather than return to Council space. "This is unacceptable," Velkaran declared. "If you will not return voluntarily, we will have to consider other options." "Are you threatening us?" Soo-jin asked calmly. "We are simply stating that the Council has certain interests that must be protected." Soo-jin smiled. "I think you should know something before you make any threats. You're not just facing humanity anymore." She activated the fleet communication system. Immediately, ships began appearing on sensors around the Council fleet. Vessels from 12 different species surrounded the alien formation. The Council was outnumbered 3-1. "These are our allies," Soo-jin announced. "Free civilizations that chose cooperation over domination. If you attack us, you attack all of us." On the screen, Velkaran's face had gone pale. The Council had expected to find struggling human refugees. Instead, they had found a powerful alliance that was larger and more advanced than Council civilization. "This is impossible," Velkaran whispered. "How did you build all this so quickly?" "We didn't build it," Soo-jin replied. "We discovered it. There are hundreds of advanced civilizations beyond Council space, civilizations that you ignored because they wouldn't submit to your control." The truth was finally clear. The Galaxy Council wasn't the dominant force in the galaxy. They were just one organization among many. By limiting themselves,